walk anymore. Well, your reality is now shifted.
Sure.
And this reality that we have here with this fairly healthy Earth could shift at any moment. The Yellowstone volcano is the one that's been freaking me out the most over the last few years.
Another big issue.
Yeah. An interesting parallel would be if we look at smaller, what happens in smaller catastrophes, like we've seen today. When we look at for example, when Katrina hit New Orleans, right? It was almost as if the human species separated into two subspecies. You had one group of people that rose to the occasion and did heroic things. They organized and they saved people spontaneously, because the government was conspicuously absent for 5 days, the first 5 days of the Katrina disaster. And here you had a major flooding of New Orleans, and you had people spontaneously organizing and performing these heroic actions of saving their fellow man and doing just stupendous things, superhero type things. But then you had another segment of the population that just went completely barbaric, and you had mass rapes and smashing of businesses and looting and just people running in wild, complete, unrestrained gangs, just committing violent acts at random. So.
And America, the richest country on earth, did not manage that crisis well.
No.
I mean, it was very, and that was a
all.
little crisis by comparison with what we're talking about.
You remember when Kanye West got on TV? George Bush does not like black people.
Oh, I don't remember that, but yeah, George Bush, I think it was on day 4, George Bush flew over in Air Force One and looked out the window.
Wave.
Yeah.
Give people hope.
But there's lessons in those kinds of events.
Sure. Yeah, we're not prepared.
We have to extrapolate from that. And if you go back, and I oftentimes as a thought exercise think how would we respond if we knew that there was a high probability of a Younger Dryas type event or series of events impending in our future?
What would you do? Start drinking, or
Well,
can you do?
It all depends on lead time.
Right.
It all depends on lead time.
What if it's a 10-day lead time? Like, you're not going to be able to shoot a rocket up there.
Listen, man, fire up that Uber again, and let's
just go hard to the end.
Yeah.
10 days, but 10 years or 20 years.
Then we can do some stuff.
The real scary thing is, there's two scary things. One, if you survived, because you're like, fuck. If you really did survive and everybody else was jacked, and all of a sudden you're dealing with some Mad Max type reality where people are starving to death and they're very desperate and they become almost like animals, that's entirely inside the realm of possibility.
Well, that's what we learned from Katrina.
Or the other terrifying possibility is that you leave the future of civilization up to those other people. Is that they survive and they have kids and their kids survive, and somehow or another, somewhere along the line, we get better and better at understanding our place here, which is what I think has happened.
Yeah.
And all it would take is one. I mean, this is, as much as people are complaining right now, and as much as there's riots in the streets protests in the streets, some riots apparently, but over the president-elect, what this time is, it represents the greatest time in history when it comes to safety, when it comes to knowledge, access to information, the way we understand each other. I don't think it's ever been better, as long as we know.
We have everything at our feet.
Yeah.
There's incredible potential in modern civilization. But the problem is that there's also very rigid mind control. The way that our societies work, it's turning people into drones. People brought up to believe that their only purpose in existence is production and consumption. That the people forced to fit into a sort of narrow place in the machine. Mass media beaming, messages at us all the time. Even the concept of democracy is absurd. When you don't have complete transparency, when there are secrets, when things are hidden, how can the people vote, with a clear mind? And if a lot is being hidden from them, that's not democracy. Democracies, in fact, invest in mind control. Most unfortunate development.